Pastor Candy. I see my name is my.
Please wasn't my contacts are okay. Do my contacts are down but he's so inspiring. You shared a beautiful story.
He is actually.
Yeah, so I would really love him to just sit down with us and inspire other pastors. It would be very good.
And did he? I want to say good day.
Because my pastor has told that it's romantic, so I want to learn from Pastor Candy. So it's very important that we bring him in.
Please do. He's very sweet. And one of the videos I name Pastor Candy.
He's our husband of the week, by the way.
Oh, wow. Shout out to Pastor Candy.
Yeah. And I was also tuned in when you were talking about Nyad's submission. I think to know that we've sort of put one day. But I'm happy that Weekend Naleo, my marriage coach is Manyama. You know, you were giving sound advice together with Anzan Tonde. Was that Tonde? The guy I sent about the two messages.
He didn't say his name. I think it's Pardon. But then he didn't say his name. Yeah.
I need to get in touch with that guy. He's just one of those people.
Please, if you're still listening, send a message again because we've lost your message.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the issue of submission weekend it's still a big issue. And when you talk about the submission, you need to be very careful because there are people that are actually coming from this dysfunctional places, dysfunctional relationships. So, and also again, the definition of submission actually for most people. For some people, what they're looking for is to abuse their spouses.
Come on,
that's submission to them.
Sure.
What they're looking for is to express their narcissism. And that's submission to them. So if you ask them, what is submission, they don't really know what they're talking about. But the word submission is made up of two words, sub and mission. So you need to have a mission first as a man. You need to have a vision first. Then your spouse will, automatically, put themselves, arrange themselves under that mission. The word sub is about arranging yourself. Just like the word hupataso, which is a Hebrew word that talks about submission. So it's about arranging yourself under a mission, under a vision. Karamba musna vision, musna mission. That's why it's important for us men to create the right environment for submission. You need to love the person. Someone was asking you who loves first.
Yes, that's which car comes first. Car is submission, cannot you love.
I strongly believe weekend is the men. The men must love first. Why? Because they're the leader. They're the leader. Lead by loving. Maoko yamuneta mashuba because munitasa kwenda ku men's conference. Ndinotaza ndiroshaya nzvimbo ku men's conference. Okay, so today we continue on the subject that we started last week. Can anything stop? How can men stop cheating?
What can stop them from cheating? Yes,
because it's happening. It's going on and on. Someone once said, no one can stop reggae. And we are worried about that.
Yes, we're very worried.
Yeah. So last week, I think we spoke about the consequences, and for those of you that didn't tune in last week, please go to our Star FM page, Facebook page. Please look for those videos. It's not going to a good view of what we were looking at last week and also today. We sounded out the warnings. Why is it bad for one to make sure that they don't go the route cheat on their spouses? And again, we're also addressing the women as well. We're just using the word men because it's not our though pampacho you feel to one gender, but we are addressing everyone, and it's very important. Proverbs 6 verse 32, one of my favorite scriptures. It says that a man who commits adultery has no sense. Whoever does so destroys himself. Unfortunately, I don't have the Shona verse.
He destroys himself.
Exactly. Unfortunately, I didn't bring my Shona Bible. Maybe the Shona Bible was going to read it to Murume and Anitacho Pumbwe. Nonsense.
Foolish man. But then couldn't show that translation to pay
whoever does so destroys himself. So you're not only destroying your marriage, but you also destroy destroying yourself, you're destroying the future of your children. We spoke about the consequences. So what can stop you from cheating? Number one, the fear of God. That's what we need. You know, simply because no one is watching you. Your wife is not there. So it's tempting. But kuna anonzi God who's omnipresent, you know, anonzi God Jehovah Shammah, he is there. Arimo mota imomo, arimo mamuri imomo, mloji imomo, atorimo. Maybe don't tell him mloji, arimo is just he's omnipresent. Atsuku wisan. Sungo uzara, asishizira. Tutodoka imo maloji imomo, arimo mwari arimo. So you've got to fear God. That's where it starts from. And you also need to do it out of respect for your wife, out of respect for your children, out of respect of yourself. Whosoever does so destroys himself.
Tapiwa the shona wananza anoita upombwe nomukadzi anoshaiwa njere anoda kuparadza upenyu hwake ndiye anoita izvozvo.
Muvangeri madzimai Mercedes vabva sports. You've got that voice in Mavangeri. You must consider that as well. Yeah. Exactly. Kushaya njere because of these things that we do. So it's important for you to have the fear of God. When you have the fear of God, you then respect yourself, your wife, and your children. And you know, that acts actually as a control system. You know what? I mustn't do this because there's God. I'm not saying that I mustn't do it because I'm doing it because I've got the fear of God. And I respect my wife, I respect my children, and I respect myself. That's number one. Then number two, you must guard your mind. Remember, these are practical steps or practical advice that we're giving. You must guard your mind. Very important. Very important. Why is it important for you to guard your mind? Why is it important? Because the devil cannot plant the seeds in your mind. You start entertaining that, you know, idea before you know it, you've, you know, warmed up to the idea, and you are on that bed. Because you don't just end up up on bed on the moon. It starts from somewhere. It starts from a seed. So you need to make sure that you protect your mind and make sure that those small seeds don't grow. For instance, Vikendi, like we always say, you know, when you see someone for the first time, it's okay. You can appreciate how beautiful they are, how well built they are, and all that. But when you then give that second look, you are now watering that seed. So it's very important for you to not to water the seed. So that's why Jesus says, just thinking about it, you would have committed adultery. You know, when they didn't expect Jesus to say this in his times. But he says, you know what? I've come if you just imagine, mere imagination, undressing someone, mere imagination, that's adultery. We are doing it in our minds. We call it mental adultery. And a lot of people out there are guilty of that. And before you know it, it's actually affecting your marriage. Because in your mind, you're full of pictures, you're full of images, you're full of ideas that are not godly.
Because you may trivialize it. Exactly. Then, like you're saying, it actually affect your intimacy with your person. Because it's so deep.
You also put your person under pressure because they now have to perform like the other person that you have in your mind. That's why at some point in time we need to discuss about what is called micro-cheating. Because a lot of people will say, you know what, I don't cheat on my spouse. But we've been doing it unknowingly. And we call that micro-cheating. So we need to look at little things that we do. We're actually cheating on our wives or on our husbands. So we need to guard our minds. That's why the Bible says that be ye transformed by what? By the renewal of your mind. Because kind of mind then ultimately you become a better person. So there must be a mental shift. And it's mental shift here, whoever is not my wife is my sister or my mother. How many of us are able to do that? You see them as a potential. let's guard our minds.
Thank you so much, Pastor.
Let there be a mentorship.
You know, yeah.
So it starts from there, Viken. Let's guard our mind. Number 3, let's guard our mouth. You know, flirting, you know, flattery words. We are speaking about Nyadzema work spouses for a very long time. We use words loosely like wana dear, sweetie, and pampacho munarukuza ana background ngeyako. They don't see it that way. Ukangomuti sweetie chete, yatu attach is a move. Wandita sweetie, ngachishka kumapena. So you've got to restrict yourself. You've got to guard your mouth.
Yeah, that's so true. I actually cringe as well. But you can't call me. I'm not your baby. Yeah, please chill. Yeah.
So you know, let's avoid flirting, guys. Before you know it, because chiramu is actually, you know. I don't want to get in there because it's a big subject. But it's important for us to guard our mouths. Because mama words are misleading to the other part.
That's so true.
So you must guard your mouth. In fact, the Bible talks about, you know, that which flows out of our mouths, definitely coming from the abundance of the heart. So the mouth is also a gate. It's also a gate. So it's very important for us to make sure that we say the right things as we relate with the other gender. We don't say misleading or mama ideas. Then number 4, guard your eyes. There's a king in the Bible, a king, a well-respected person in 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 2, I'm sure, of verse 2, 3, somewhere there. This guy was just idle. Other men were at war. In verse 1 actually it says that but this guy decided to stay home. And he saw, the Bible says that he saw Bathsheba.
This guy no farirwa.
So because he was idle, that's why it's important for you, if you're a man or a woman, please watch out for idleness. Because the moment you're idle, like they say, you become a workshop, your mind becomes a workshop for the devil. You start getting a lot of ideas. But when you try to beg, you try to marry, industrious. You have no time for all those things. And I'm not saying that very industrious, I'm trying to beg, I told food scans, I need to food scans, but my ginger actually, I would tell Garama and rain for my Brits and then all these crazy ideas come and we end up doing fun. Do but choose on it, and I got my about you. Drugusia Kumba, and then of one teacher from Shakada, so about Panacha would be a foot. And would have to submit it. You watch it and scans. It's because of idleness.
So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. What can stop men from cheating? It starts him sounding good all the time. It is the morning galaxy. I am V Candy Madlamini. We're doing relationship goals with Pastor Simba Holoza, and those asking about the verse. It's Proverbs 6:32 to 35. Kwaye anoita upombwe nomkadzi anoshayiwa njere anoda kuparadza upenyu hwake ndiye anoita izvozvo anoda kuparadza upenyu hwake ndiye anoita izvozvo haangave nehanya nomuripo haangatendi kunyange ukamuvigira zvipo zvizhinji. So those asking about that verse. Pastor Simba, what can stop men from cheating? We are live on Facebook. You can join the conversation. You can go ahead, Pastor.
So we're on number 4, where we're saying that guard your eyes. And we spoke about David. And David, in 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse number 2, he was on the rooftop and he saw Uriah's wife, Bathsheba. And we spoke about idleness. With idleness, games with ample time in our hands, and we end up, you know, doing other things. Like I always say, you know, it's impossible when we cheated on my wife because my hands are full. We are busy. We're doing stuff together. So if you're idle, then chances are that you end up using your time for other things.
And you're also doing stuff together.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Right. So, you know, while it is good, Weekend, to be on social media, to be on your social pages, or whatever, or TikTok and all that. But because of Garawe Pahapo from 6 to 4, when you go to video after video, TikTok, you know, you end up seeing things that you're not supposed to see.
That's
You know,
true.
more, and before you know it, you're seeing all these, they call it blue movies, you know, all that, and it's wrong. Like I said, it's also part of what we call micro cheating. We will talk about that at some point in time. But it's important for you to know that desire to cheat on your person. It comes through what we call the eye gate, through the eyes, through what you're seeing. So it's important for you to guard the eyes. Be like Job. Job said, I made a covenant with my eyes not to look at a woman lustfully. And the same Bible also says that, you know what, it's better for you to enter heaven usina other parts of your body rather than going down parts wako asuchenda kugena. So it's very important for you to have that covenant. Job 31 verse 1. Sit with your eyes, talk to your eyes, good eye, you don't see this, you don't look at this. It's also very important because that desire, it enters through the eye gate. Very important. Then number 5, guard your heart. Chengetedza moyo wako. And I know many times as men or as women who want to vent out. You want to vent out. So you want to look for a friend. We go to the opposite side, to the opposite gender, and trying to think, you know, but you don't know the agenda of that person you're talking to, and you end up falling in their arms. They end up helping you in other ways other than giving you wise counsel. That's why it's important for you to know either you seek counseling or don't, because one of the other side, which is gossiping. Gossiping your issue is just talking to someone who has no capacity to help you. But when you seek counseling, you are going to someone are pro-marriage.
Wow.
Are not marriage you win.
This is so deep, because mostly like people do gossiping you. You're just venting out and they can't help you.
End up on top of the mountain and shouting out and telling everyone who cares to listen. That's what you're going through. So it's very important for you to seek for counseling. Don't gossip your issue, because you end up getting sympathy from someone, and before you know it, you go into that adultery bed. Then number 6, guard your, or rather, guard your body. This is very important. Your body. Yeah, don't take your body to some places.
My lodge.
And we take our bodies and we leave the brains behind. So don't. Because zipper isn't go for you have to run away, and you are exposing your body to these things. And then we don't and you also not part of a point of no return. So it's important for you to guard your body. I don't want to be talking about advice, but it's all clear. You know, you need to make sure that you guard your bodies, because affairs don't start in the bedroom. They start in the mind, they start in the heart, they start when there is a body that is unguarded. Then number 7, number 7, you must heal from past trauma.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because another type infidelity, because that's my work weekend as an affair recovery specialist. We try to analyze so that our clients understand with what form or what type of infidelity was it. Because when you know what type, then you'll be able to give a prescription in any type. Yes, Baba na Amai. And so you find with type identity revenge affair. So in a revenge affair, and they failed to heal, they failed to get that healing, because it's so traumatic. It's so traumatic. That's why we said I know the post-infidelity stress trauma disorder. Sorry, Itoriko, that disorder, post-infidelity. You can actually get into that disorder, which can be very clinical. So it's important for you to make sure that you heal if you have had that moment you're good because if you don't, you then end up one trauma, and before you know it, you are now cheating on your person so that you get validation. Because you've got questions like, okay, maybe I'm not enough, maybe cheater because I lagged in some areas, and then you look for people to experiment with, you look for people that will then give you, whether it's respect or whether it's validation that you're looking for, and before you know it, you are there. So it's important for you to make sure that you deal with past trauma. Because if you don't, you struggle when it comes to ego, you struggle when it comes to your self-worth, and then the moment you're out there, then someone sees good, that's your weakness, and they start giving you that ego boost. They start, respecting you. If it's respect that you're lacking, Kumba, they start respecting you. Before you know it, you are gravitating towards that person. You are warming up to the idea of you guys having an affair or becoming an item, and then you find yourself on that bed. And that's how most people end up in adulterous situations. So it's very important for you to get the healing. Where do you get it from? See your marital counselor. See your pastor if you belong to a church. That's why it's important for you to belong to a church. If you don't, then go to a counselor, a professional counselor, though you will have to pay for that. Thank you, Vikendi.
Thank you so much, Pastor Simba. You can go watch it on Facebook. We're live. Share it with someone. And wow, what can stop men from cheating? For those who want to reach you, your contact details, Pastor Simba.
Send me a message. Send me your name, your marital status, and your town to 0773 000 000, or you can come to my Instagram, my WhatsApp, my Facebook, Married by Simba or Pastor Simba Woloza. I don't have groups, but I've got a broadcast list, meaning that if you're married, you receive messages on Monday. If you're single, you receive messages on Saturday.
Thank you so much, Pastor Simba. We're back with you tomorrow as the Morning Galaxy. Remember to pray, to keep trusting God. Keep believing tomorrow belongs to God. Check your time with mine, 12 midday, time for Now in Durban.